So day one starts with we got to get all the cars moved. We put our traffic control up, make sure everyone's safe in the area. We get our milling machine out. We start milling the proposed area. Once the proposed area is milled out, we start to sweep and blow. We get all the debris cleaned up, and then we start to tack it.
Tibbs as a truck driver, you got to be worried about everybody else out here. People drive way too fast and they want to run you off the road because you're going the speed limit, because you have to. It's dangerous. You got to be aware, and you got to kind of have a sixth sense about it, or else, shit. You got me worried. Now I'm talking and shit.
What's nice about when the big mill can't reach into little corners of the islands where the concrete is we'll take the little 2-foot or 4-foot mill attachment on the skid steer and we'll hit those instead wherever the big mill can't reach.
So right now all we're doing is getting stuff that the mill missed. Gotta get it kind of flush with everything else. That way when we pave, it's one solid flush surface.
We use a product called Pave Pro. I really recommend it. It works really well. They spray it down because the material is so sticky, it gets stuck to all the tools and it makes it almost impossible to shovel it or even use the rake on it. And if they don't do that, it builds up over time and it makes the job just 10 times harder.
So we paved this little area because for phase one, we're gonna have everyone park on here. So when we do phase two, they have to be able to get to this door because we don't want to inhibit hours of operation. So with that being said, we're gonna cut this back. So this doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna put a mark down so when we mill it, we know to mill back here. So we're milling new asphalt out, believe it or not. But it just leaves a good transition. So anything after here we don't really care about because we're cutting it out anyways. And we'll make a nice clean transition with the mill, and then we'll even cut it back just a little bit. You'll have a nice clean edge to bite onto on the next pass.
Now today we're going through and repaving 1.5 inches. So this back here's the paver. We'll use a skid steer to bucket asphalt into it, or we'll back one of the dump trucks in and dump asphalt into it like that, and then we'll just go through, pave with that. We have screws on the side to adjust the screed, and that's what keeps your level of asphalt.
So we're at the asphalt plant. We're gonna load up a surface mix. We're out here doing a mill and fill job. We're gonna do the surface, that way it's a nice smooth finish on our job site. Basically we come in, we pull up under the silos, we're on a scale, it will give us our weight and everything. He'll load us, he'll have us pull up, do that sort of thing, make sure our trucks are loaded to the right spec. So for this truck, I actually have 4 axles on top of my steer axle, so that'll let me hold a lot more weight than a lot of these other trucks. A truck like this with the trailer and everything, he can hold like 50 tons, so that's crazy. I can hold 18 to 20 in this. Our triple can hold about 15 tons in it. We can get the different weights because we have the more axles, the spacing matters and all that. If we have the axle spaced a little farther, we can actually put more weight on. It'll also make it harder to drive, so there's pros and cons to having both axle spacing and the more axles. A lot of times we use hand signals, basic stuff, come back, stop, stuff like that. We have markings on the front of the paver that actually show where we would be centered at. Try and get one of the sides on one of those markings. You don't really know how much material is left in there, but our guys are good at communicating what we're doing. And just to keep it calm and everything, where things like this can get so stressful in case you pull too far forward, and you can actually unload half of the truck on the ground in front of the paver. So as long as our guys are talking and communicating in any way possible, it makes it really easy and really smooth, honestly.
These drums, they weigh about probably, I don't know, this is a bigger machine than what we usually run, but we're using this machine just for the scale of the job. So these drums, they have water running through them. This asphalt, it's hot and sticky, so if there's not water running on them, it'll stick to the drums and it'll tear up the asphalt. They also have vibrators in them, which helps compact the asphalt. So I'll run across it a couple times, no vibrator, and I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but there's a loud vibrator going on. And it'll help compact it a lot more, make it more solid, and helps us get on with the job a lot faster.
So the goal today was to do half of phase 1, so we were trying to get 600 on the ground today, which is nothing short of an uphill battle. And if you see up front, we got to work around the lumber yard. But as you can see, we're moving along good now. We got our paver dialed in. We had some issues with our paver this morning as well, but everything's dialed in, and we're only about 10 tons over where we should be, and we got another 150 to get down, and we'll be done with phase 1. All right, guys, so this is the wrap for 2,300 ton lows for Delaware Valley Paving up here in Gaylord, Michigan. It was a 3-phase mill and pave at about a 700 ton a piece. We went a little bit over on mix on this one because it was an 1.5 inch pave, but it came out great, as you can see in the background. We're finished rolling it, doing a little bit of torching around the edges to make sure it's flush. And this job turned out beautiful. Stripe man will be here in the morning, get it striped up, and we'll be on our way. Also, a huge thanks to Ethan Riley for supplying this material. This is 4E. It came out beautiful. Mix was 319 coming out of the live bottom, so turned out great. The mix is great. Can't thank Brian and his team at Ethan Riley enough.